Some days you just want to make something small and cheerful, and these mini tutti frutti cookies felt perfect for that. Nothing fancy, nothing complicated, just a tiny bake that brings a little color and joy to the day. So if you want to learn how to make, we will take our first ingredient, that is the room temperature unsalted butter. You can take clarified butter if you like, but make sure to take it in a semi-solid form. To this we will add the castor sugar. In case you don't have any castor sugar, you can always add some home ground powdered sugar. And if you'd like to make it with jaggery powder, surely you can do that with the same quantity. Now what I am doing here is the creaming of sugar and butter. You don't need a whisk for this. A spatula is good enough. This looks perfect. Next, we will take in our dry ingredient, that is the all-purpose flour. Now if you want to add whole wheat flour, surely you can substitute it with about 110 grams. But I'd suggest to add gradually to see how the dough forms. I'll leave the measurements in the description box below. Do check it out. Now comes the fun part, where you add these beautiful little candied dry papaya called the tutti frutti. These are easily available in local stores or even on Amazon, but in case you don't have these, you can always substitute them with raisins or nuts or even chocolate chips. Simply bring it together to form a dough, and avoid using your palm as we do not want to knead the dough. Not too dry, not too soft. Perfect. These little moments in the kitchen feel like a break from everything. No rush, no pressure. Just making something sweet that feels good. It's small little things like this that makes the day a little brighter, don't you think? Write to me how you'd like your day, given the choice if you were to bake or just sit in front of the TV. Now all I'm doing is take a portion and molding it into a thin log. The thinner the better, to get those tiny little bite-sized cookies. This can go onto the tray for refrigeration. And the best part about these is that the dough can stay in the freezer for up to a month, and you can always bring them out on a day you're hosting some guests or even for your orders. And they can even last up to a month once baked, but make sure that it's in an airtight container away from the heat and sun. Once you're done with all the logs, these will need to be refrigerated for up to an hour. The purpose is to get the dough to be firm enough to slice into it. Cute little fruit cookies. These can go onto the parchment-lined baking tray . And similarly, go ahead with the rest of the dough. You know, whenever I'm making these tiny cookies, I always think about the joy of this process, like finding a recipe you enjoy or making something like this that always reminds you of your old days. Just a simple dough and a quiet few minutes in the kitchen, and somehow these little things make the day feel a bit more special. These can now go into the oven for about 12 to 15 minutes, but make sure to keep a watch as every oven works differently. Perfect little cookies. and I love how each one has a different color popping out of it. So festive, and looks like so much fun to enjoy too. Can't wait to get them to my family to taste. Crisp little edges and perfect browning on the bottom as well. I'm gonna call this a bowl full of happiness. And there's always that tiny spark of joy, no matter how many times I bake. The colors, the smell, the warm aromatic scent from the oven, it just makes everything worth it. Time to see how they've turned out on the inside. Perfect buttery crumbs that gives that melt in your mouth feel. Do give it a try and let me know how many bowls full of happiness did you make today. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.